Vinyl records were extremely popular in the mid-20th century. Back then, if you wanted to listen to music from the comfort of your home, vinyl and a record player was the only option. However, that changed when new musical innovations started popping up. First, cassette tapes in the 60s, then CDs in the 80s. With the onset of MP3 in 1991, vinyl started fading into obscurity. But over the past decade, vinyl records have made a strong comeback. In fact, vinyl album sales surpassed CDs in 2020. In this video, we'll cover 10 terms every vinyl enthusiast should be familiar with. Number 1 is record grading. Record grading is the classification of a vinyl record in terms of its physical condition and sound quality in order to accurately describe its value to potential buyers. For example, mint or M means the record is in perfect condition. This means that it is usually sealed and has never been played. Excellent, E, or very good plus, VG plus, means the record may show some slight signs of wear which doesn't affect the listening experience. These make for aesthetically great records, with the benefit of having not been played very much. Fair, F, or poor, P, is when the record has not been properly cared for. The listening experience will be marred by considerable surface noise, cracks, and scratches, or the vinyl art has been subject to smoke damage or noticeable wear. Bad, B, means there really is not a reason to buy such a record, as it will feature significant wear and tear. Here's term number 2. Revolutions per minute, or RPM. Records are often classified by the number of revolutions they make on a turntable per minute, or RPM. This number gives the listener an idea of how much music is recorded on the disc. The official record standard in the 1920s until the late 1950s was 78 RPM. These early records had their shortcomings. They carried only about 5 minutes of sound on each side. Also, they were made of shellac, which made them quite brittle and prone to shattering. 78s are hard to come by today. The speed used for nearly all long play or LP record albums from 1948 to the present day is 33 1/3. This speed allows for a longer playback time, up to 20 minutes, than the earlier 78 RPM. Because the records were made of polyvinyl chloride, these records earned the nickname vinyl. 45 RPM was considered the middle ground between the first two formats. It debuted in 1949 and was often called a single. It held one song on each side. The third term is Spindle Mark. A spindle mark is a physical impression on a vinyl record caused by an inaccurate attempt to place the record on a phonograph or turntable. An abundance of spindle marks, even on a record with little apparent wear, may indicate that the vinyl has been played excessively and may exhibit unwanted surface noise during playback. Surface noise is an abnormal or excessive clicks or hisses in the background when playing a vinyl record. Term 4 is inner sleeve. An inner sleeve is a protective covering that's placed in direct contact with the surface of a vinyl record. It is intended to protect the disc from coming in direct contact with the outer cover, as the rough surface of the cover might damage the record. Some have a cutout center hole to allow you to view the record without having to remove it from the sleeve. Others contain lyrics or other information about that specific recording. Many collectors buy aftermarket sleeves that offer much better protection than the ones supplied with many records. This is because most original record sleeves are made with generic plain paper, plastic, or cardboard. Term number 5 is Phono Stage. The signal coming out of your turntable cartridge is around 1,000 times lower than the signal coming from a CD player or a streaming device. In order to hear music from vinyl through your speakers, you first need to boost the signal to a level that can be played properly through your sound system. This is where a Phono Stage, also known as a phono preamp, comes in. A Phono Stage is an audio component that provides the connection between the record player and an amplifier. Preamps come in all kinds of shapes and sizes. For example, you can get a dedicated Phono Stage or get one built into an amplifier, receiver, or even powered speakers. Here's term number 6, original pressing. An original pressing typically refers to a vinyl record that was cut from the original master recordings. As they are the first records to be pressed, some consider these to be the best sounding records. However, this is rarely the case. Many original pressings of classic records from the Beatles, such as Abbey Road, or Pink Floyd, such as The Wall, have probably been used countless times. It's very unlikely you will find one in near mint condition, so for many older records, reissues sound much better. Also, determining whether a record is an original pressing can be a bit tricky since there are no set industry standards. Term number 7 is one you're probably familiar with, stereo. Stereo is a recording format where the music is presented in 2 distinct channels of sound, one on the left and one on the right. This is the primary way artists intend their audience or listeners to hear their music. In fact, stereo has been the de facto audio standard for vinyl records since 1968. A stereo system for listening to records will incorporate a turntable, Phono Stage, amplifier, and a pair of loudspeakers. Talk to any vinyl enthusiast, and they will excitedly share how much they love the 3-dimensional listening experience created by a well-designed 2-channel stereo system. Term number 8 is lacquers. The physical production of a vinyl begins with an aluminum disc covered with a cellulose nitrate, a coating similar to nail polish. This special disc is known as a lacquer. Audio grooves are cut into the face of a blank lacquer using a machine called a lathe. This device transforms the acoustic energy of the studio recording into the physical movement of a needle, which carves the music's grooves into the lacquer. The cut lacquers are then sent directly to an electroplating facility to be used as the substrate in the electroforming. These are the master plates. The next 2 terms go hand in hand. We'll start with term number 9, audiophile. No vinyl glossary or guide would be complete without mentioning audiophiles. Merriam-Webster defines an audiophile as a person who is enthusiastic about high-fidelity sound reproduction. Well, spend just 5 minutes learning about audiophiles, and you'll quickly realize how simplistic this definition is. Audiophiles are an exceptional breed of people who are known to take their fascination with sound quality to obscene levels. Some dig into every minute detail of a speaker technology or sound engineering. Others have sound systems worth more than your car. But generally put, an audiophile is someone who has a deep appreciation for how high-quality music recordings sound, and most happen to be vinyl lovers. This brings us to term number 10, Audiophile-grade Vinyl. The typical vinyl record is 12 inches and will weigh between 120 and 150 grams. However, some newer audiophile-grade records come in heavier weights of 180, 200, or even 220 grams. The increased weight of these discs make them more resistant to warping while providing a sturdier platform for the stylus to rest on. Warped or bent records can distort the music pressed upon them and cause the stylus to jump or skip. Some people have linked the higher weight directly to a whole host of sonic benefits, such as noise reduction in deeper bass and higher treble. Notwithstanding, any sound improvement over standard records will largely be due to the better mastering and manufacturing procedures often allotted to heavier records. There's just one caveat. This type of vinyl often commands higher prices than the standard grades, often fetching 2 to 3 times more per disc. We hope you enjoyed this video, and be sure to like and subscribe to see more content, as well as visiting us on CompassLongview.com. I'm Rob with Compass Longview. Thanks for watching.